Hello everyone, I'm Isan. In this video, let's talk about some tricks to speed up the performance of your Samsung smartphones after updating to OneUI 2.0. In this tutorial, I use one of the latest Samsung A51 mid-range smartphones. But all of these tips can also be used on most Samsung smartphones that use OneUI 2.0. And maybe some of these also works on the previous OneUI series too. These tips are especially for those of you who use Samsung mid-range smartphones and feel that the smartphone speed is still not fast enough. Okay, now let's just check out one by one some tips to improve the performance of Samsung mid-range smartphones after updating to OneUI 2.0. For smartphones with in-display fingerprint like on Samsung A51, the fingerprint speed still feels a little bit slow, especially if you often use in-display fingerprint on Samsung flagship smartphone. To speed up the performance of this fingerprint sensor, this is a little tip that can be quite useful for you. First, go to Settings, then select Biometrics and Security. Then select the Fingerprints option. Here, all you have to do is add one fingerprint with the same fingerprint that you have already added. By doing this, the sensor can detect the fingerprint faster and more accurately than before. Then the second thing that might feel a little slow after OneUI 2.0 update is the animation speed, especially when opening or closing application. If you feel that the animation response makes your smartphone performance slower when opening or closing application, you can speed up this animation on the developer options setting. To activate the developer options, you need to go to Settings, then select About Phone at the very bottom. And then select Software Information. Here you only need to tap 7 times quickly on the build number section until it shows developer mode has been turned on. After that, now in the settings section, there will be a developer options at the very bottom. Here we can now change the speed of the animation settings by changing the settings on Window Animation Scale, Transition Animation Scale, and Animator Duration Scale. You can set all of these speeds to half times and then you will immediately get much faster speed when opening and closing application. If you want to completely remove all of the animations, you can also set all of these 3 settings to off. But I prefer to use half time option so that there is still a little bit of animation, but with much faster speed. Then the next tip to boost up your smartphone performance on OneUI 2.0 is for smartphone with limited amount of RAM capacity. If your smartphone already has 6GB of RAM or above, you may not need to change this setting. But if your smartphone has 4GB of RAM or below, you can try to change this setting. The setting is still on the developer options. Because the developer mode has been activated earlier, now let's directly go into the developer options. Here you need to find the setting for background process limit. This option will limit the application processes that run on the background to 4 processes only. By changing the setting on the Samsung smartphone with a small RAM capacity, you will immediately feel the faster performance when opening the application. The next tip is to reduce the animation effects. You can find the setting on the default setting outside the developer options. To activate this option, just go to the settings, then select Advanced Features. Then all you have to do is activate Reduce Animation, and the setting will also make your smartphone much faster when opening and closing application. It will also improve overall performance of your smartphone. Then the next tips is on the Device Care option. On the Device Care option, tap on the 3-dot button on the upper right corner of the setting, and then select Advanced. In this Advanced setting, you can activate Auto Restart features and arrange the restart schedule that you can set to automatically restart at certain days and hours. Here you can choose the day and hour that you don't usually use your smartphone. For example, at 3 AM. So the smartphone that you use in the morning after you wake up can be much faster and give a better performance when being used. The next tips are still in the Device Care section. In the Advanced Device Care menu, there is an option for automatic smartphone optimization that can be run automatically at certain times. Here you can set the schedule, for example at 3 AM and activate close apps to free up memory. By activating the auto optimization setting, the smartphone will automatically close application at the certain times that you want. Then the next tips are also in the device care settings. You can find these settings in the battery menu. Here select app power management, and on this setting choose to activate put unused apps to sleep if it hasn't already activated. Then select the sleeping apps menu. Here then you can add application that you rarely use. By activating this option, you can speed up the performance of your smartphone to be more optimal to its best performance. Because it doesn't interfere with apps that you don't actually use but continue to run on the background. This option can also certainly save your smartphone battery. The next tip is quite easy and simple. Here by default on Samsung A51 and also some other latest Samsung devices in general, when you hold the power button, it will not immediately go into the menu to turn off or restart your smartphone, but instead it will launch the Bixby. Even though there is actually an option to turn off and restart the smartphone from the notification panel, this option will be slower, especially if the smartphone that we want to restart or turn off is from the screen off state. To change the way to turn off and restart the smartphone to be as usual like on the previous series, you can go to the settings and select advanced settings. Here then select key settings at the very top. Here you can change press and hold from wake Bixby to power off menu. After changing this setting, now you can turn off or restart the smartphone faster even when the screen is off. The next tip is to enable swipe down for notification panel. The goal here of course is to speed up the process to go to the setting or to see notifications on this notification panel. If you haven't activated this setting yet, you can activate it on the settings and hold on the home screens and select home screen settings. Then here just activate swipe down for notification panel. After this setting has been activated, you can access the notification panel even faster than before. The next tip is on the navigation gesture option. If you have tried using full screen gesture on the latest OneUI 2.0, but you still feel the performance is not quite fast when opening and closing applications, you can try to change the way of navigation by bringing back the navigation button. After bringing back the navigation buttons, you will feel the performance when opening or closing application will be so much faster than using full screen navigation. You can change this option from the settings, then select display options, then choose navigation bar. Here then just activate the navigation button at the top. And then the process of opening and closing the application will feel so much faster than using full screen gesture. Next, there are also tips to speed up performance on your smartphone home screen. By default on the Samsung smartphone home screen, you will always find a special screen on the very left for Bixby. If you don't use Bixby feature on Samsung smartphone that much, you can just remove this Bixby screen and speed up the performance of your smartphone, especially on the home screen. To remove this screen is actually pretty easy. Just swipe to the far left of the home screen and pinch the screen. Here choose the option to disable the Bixby menu at the top. And now the home screen becomes faster and cleaner. And that's all the tips and settings that you can activate to make Samsung mid-range smartphone performance, especially that use OneUI 2.0, become much faster in everyday use. After seeing all the tips on this video, which one is your most favorite? Just leave your answer on the comment section down below. If you want to ask further questions about smartphone and other technology, you can join our Telegram channel from the link on the description of this video. You can also ask directly to our Instagram account @Santertainment. From there, we also often update some new things about smartphone and technology. Don't forget to click the thumbs up button if you like this video, and also subscribe and activate the bell icon, so you will be notified when there is a new video from this channel. See you in the next video.